art coming. I mean, there's really tell these people in the chat to get the frames up. I've been going to the freaking conventions for the last year, spending thousands of dollars on art for it to sit in the office. So I told them, get the frames on the wall, and they did. Look it.
Thank you, Ben.
Big shout out to Raven Mamura. It was great meeting you when we got to meet you last year at OrcaCon, and hopefully I see you again there this year.
Yes.
So, DM rewards and conversions. Let's start with they've just released the DM rewards. I have some thoughts on this. We should all have some thoughts on this. Josh, can you tell me a little bit of what you know about them?
They released like the what we talked about the other day, like the preliminary player's guide and the dungeon master's guide. But now like the full package has been updated and released on DM's Guild for download. So just a couple of things. When you download it, it's a gazillion files. They haven't cleaned the file up yet, so you're gonna get a bunch of shit. Tomb of Annihilation stuff, like there's still a bunch of like legacy files in there. So just make sure that you're looking for the Season 9 stuff in particular. Don't get confused. The new Season 9 stuff supersedes all of that old stuff that's
It'll
in
all
there.
be on the bottom
Yeah.
of like the huge list of stuff. It's like
going to clean that up?
I don't know, bro.
I hope they'll
I'm just letting the people know so you don't get confused because like
they've
me.
got like Latin.
Yeah,
and
I don't want them to look at it
like
like, what is this shit, dude? Like, what? There we
Yeah.
go. So anyways, so they revamped the new log sheets out because I've seen that question on Facebook constantly. Travis answering, it'll be out. Amy Lynn answering, it'll be out on the day that the book debuts. Well, the book debuts, they were Johnny on the spot. It was on DM's Guild. New log sheet, super simple. As a convention organizer, I love it. The days will be gone of the last year we spent of the eyes rolling back in the head and the distant zombie glances when you start talking about, okay, so this is how advancement checkpoints work, and then 4 treasure checkpoints, but they change in tier, and then they walk away, and it's just nothing but log sheets on the ground and on the table.
Well, the best is when everybody's got their own interpretation of what it is.
Exactly.
And then you start hearing things like, well,
and then
this DM
and then it's
told
like,
me.
well, where's the magic item list? What can I unlock? I heard there's that's been fixed. So
Yes.
that's been eliminated. Treasure points gone. Treasure points are gone.
gone.
Treasure points are gone.
Gone.
Not what if.
No.
Not well if I.
Gone.
They're gone.
Gone.
And aside from that, the new DM's rewards, it used to be a lot of like, if you run this, and if you do this, and if you run this so many times. Now, they've simplified it into 3 different protocols for you to earn a reward. And you earn a reward, and then you add those rewards up. And if you want to trade them in for the cooler, like what would be more traditionally considered a DM reward, that list is right down there. You're going to have the Descent into Avernus book to like truly understand what the rewards are. But bottom line is that there's some really cool stuff. It's all powered by soul coins, so you better get your soul coins ready.
Hamlet asks, Xanathar still banished by my bard, right?
Depends. If your bard's got erased out of the player's handbook, then yeah, he's fine. If he's not out of the player's handbook, then yes, he's still subject to PHP +1.
Yeah. So we've got Ben, do we have the rewards picture ready? No, no worries. So some of the DM rewards there's some vanity pets. You can actually get a couple items in game.
A grip of vehicles.
A huge grip of vehicles.
I know.
Like
I'm
you can trade
excited about the
20-something
vehicles.
points in for like
It's
basically the fucking Infernal War Machine.
Yeah, which is fantastic. So I'm a huge fan.
Usable only during Season 9.
That's
so
fair.
you want to get it as fast as you can so you can I cannot wait
One thing,
to just be running people over.
one thing to make
So wait,
clear.
are you going to be proficient in it too?
I don't know if you're proficient in
I am.
Oh, you got land
I'm
vehicle.
sure. So you
I'm the gunner.
get it, and then we'll put our stuff. Can we put our points together and get it together so that I can drive it?
I don't think so.
But that would be that. We'll have to ask.
If we DM at the same time. So one thing to make clear is with the DM rewards and things of that nature, they did specify pretty clearly that when you run Season 9 content, you get the Season 9 rewards, and only Season 9 DM rewards can be used for the War Machine.
very important.
Yes.
Campaign adventures, so DDAL, 09,
Yes.
whatever. Avernus.
Yep.
And then very also important is that these rewards that you're getting, a DM reward is two different types. There's a CCC DM reward, which can only be used for like the first three things, the first three standard advancements, like gaining levels, things like that. But if you're running the campaign book or the campaign adventures, your pool can consist of points from Eberron.
Yes. That was also something else I saw in there that I enjoyed. I'm excited because I want to go to Eberron.
They're trying to make it easy, like on us as DMs, to not feel like we're penalizing ourselves in the Avernus content when just because we want to run the Eberron content.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to fall behind. Like the first person I think of is like DMs who get this, like Danny, who get this and like plan out, this is what I'm going to do for the next season in order to get what I'm going to get. And then all of a sudden the Eberron book comes out and it throws a wrench and like, oh, I can't stop doing this because I've got to finish the book so I can get the particular reward for this book. And they fixed that in one sentence.
They
listened to the community and fixed it.
And following that, with DM rewards, one of my favorite things to look at is when you run the Season 9 content as a DM, you basically get everything the players get. You get the items, you get the milestones, you get all the stuff that follows with that. And following that, with the item, the magic item limits that you run into, as a DM, as you kind of accrue these magic items, they actually go into a pool to your character, and then you kind of like, okay, well, I've got these things, and you get to kind of cherry pick and move things around.
As a
so
DM,
I came in at the right time to DM.
Well, as a DM, you should be able to make a quick character, and what it allows you to do is just sit down and be like, oh, well, I just have this in my phone, like my pool of DM points, and you just can build it out. Grab a couple of magical items, throw a couple of things on there, and so when the rare chance as a convention DM you get to play, then you can make sure that whatever's available to play, you have a character that fits right into the slot.
Yeah.
Which is a problem that you and I run into sometimes, like not having characters. But because I always neglect about DM points, and you forget about DM points.
I forget
about
admin, and I don't think about getting DM points as an admin, so I don't realize that I have all that, and I'm like pretty much sitting on a pile of treasure, and I don't even know it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like my couch is made of dollar stacks of money, and I don't even know. You know, like that's.
I mean, at PAX, we were all there for tons of hours. I think I logged almost. Ben, how many hours do we have? Like 50?
55.
We had I logged 55 hours of DMing.
Let's take PAX out of the equation and just talk about Renaissance Fair.
Oh yeah, I mean it's solid.
If you didn't DM, you were adminning.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
8 hours a day, 16 hours.
It was from 10 to 7.
So 9 hours.
A solid 9er. Plus there's the after hour games that we ran. I mean, like we accrued.
Yeah, you got another
stuff.
54 hours at Renaissance Fair, just not counting the after hours games.
And so now, so here I am. I just accrued a billion ACP and
But did
TCP.
you use them yesterday?
I did not. However, in the conversion guide, now your magic, your treasure checkpoints, those are gone, right?
Yeah.
TCP's out the window. Who cares about TCP?
Oh, and I saw a post this morning where Travis was talking about smoke powder guidelines will be released later.
I know.
She's all, did you say something to him? Well, I didn't say anything.
Because we spent hours and we spent all of ours on gunpowder. And so
we have some heavily armed gnomes now. The gnomes are not ready.
I
to
have
smoke
double
powder.
pistol yielding gnomes, so
Well,
she needs as much as she can get.
In the conversion, your advancement checkpoints that you accrue DMing, every 8 advancement points you have accrue into to a DM reward point. So, I mean, even though, like, I may have, in a certain sense, I lost a lot of, like, the magic stuff and all this stuff, I still have, like, a carryover of a crazy amount of DM rewards. So, that's cool.
We just bought a bunch of scrolls and potions and
Consumables.
Yeah.
Get them.
Lee says, or you were drinking at the fair.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing we were doing. If you weren't DMing, you were probably drinking.
Yeah.
I didn't accrue many DM points for drinking in the bar.
Unless you were Sebastian.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yay,
Sebastian did. He had
That
it. He was like. I remember what he messaged me. He's like, I don't want to seem like a jerk. Everybody was like, I don't want to seem like a jerk and take all the slots in the tavern, but I kind of want to take
So
all
there
the
were a
slots.
couple DMs that weekend that did earn their DM points drinking in the tavern while running a game.
Yeah.
Those were the lucky ones.
Those were the lucky ones.
Yeah, those were the few chosen.
No.
Wait, Ben, what's your friend's name? He was another one of the DMs. Dustin. I like him. He was one of the DMs too.
There you go, Lee. Drunk points. That's.
I
I don't know what I could cash him in for besides anger from my wife and everybody else, but I accumulated them. That's for sure.
Do you think that works for the monks? For the
Like
drunken
key
master?
points?
Yeah, drunken master points.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe
Can you
there
run
you
a
go.
game
Drunken master style. There you
I
go.
think you could flavor it as that. It's still
There you go, dude. I don't. This character doesn't get AP. He gets DP. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Okay, next up.
Okay.
Anyways,
Too much.
so DM rewards, the conversion guidelines, all those are out now. You can find those on the DM's Guild. Again, don't be too concerned when you do get the whole thing. It is there's I don't know how many, like 14 or 15 files.
It's a bunch.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. The stuff you're really looking for is going to be towards the bottom.
Yeah.
So check it out, read it over. It's all really streamlined and pretty easy to follow.
I'm excited.
If you
I'm bummed that we ended up not being able to make it to the release at midnight last night because I would have had the books and the War Machine to show off.
You guys didn't get to.
I did. I could not shake my headache yesterday.
Oh, I feel
I
it.
had like a 2-day headache, and
There were a couple of places that did like a midnight release of the book, and
Zulu's did. We supported it. Danny was there.
yeah.
I'm bummed, but it's okay. We'll be going over there to pick all
A
the
couple
stuff
of the
up.
homies were there. The Howards, Stephen K. So it's too far away.
Yeah.
It was too far away, and I was afraid. I was like, dude, I'm gonna get like halfway there in traffic, and my head's just gonna be pounding.
Yeah, I feel it.
So.
So for my DMs, when you get a chance, look at some of the rewards. There's some really fun stuff, like a baby bone whelk, kitten of slobber chops. There's
Wait,
hellhound
what?
puppies.
Yeah, there's a new Tressum.
There's a kitty.
There's all sorts. There's an infernal
is a
snail. Following that, I mean, DMs can also get things like familiars, like an abyssal chicken. The
the
infernal
favorite
pseudo
chicken.
dragon is one that I like.
Cranky ass lawful evil pseudo dragon.
Oh yeah, you can get
Nothing's better than a shitty pseudo dragon, dude.
So they're all fantastic. This is also one thing. If you've never DM'd at a DDAL and you've always like felt like it, like now DMing, it really rewards you with a bunch of cool stuff that you get to do. So not only do you get to enjoy the game playing as a DM, but you also get to enjoy the game by like kind of like building these characters and getting this special stuff. Like again, like the kitty, the snail.
Snail.
If you DM like crazy, like a lot of us here, I mean, you get to spend some of these rewards not only on levels for your character, but there's consumables of all kinds. There's magic items like the obsidian flint dragon plate, which is a magic item that you'll get in Avernus. I mean, there's some crazy cool stuff you can get.
I'm excited.
Soul coins, etc.
Oh yeah, because you need. It sounds to me like that you're gonna need to pump the soul coins into the vehicles like slot machines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
expend 2 soul coins to do this.
And what's the thing about the soul coins is you can't carry too many because if you carry too many, they start to cause problems to you and they start to weigh also. They start to exceed the weight in your bags.
Because they're super heavy, right?
They're super heavy, but they also affect you emotionally. So you start having disadvantage on rolls and stuff depending on how many soul coins you're carrying. So that's another thing that affects the gameplay. I mean, you're going to hell.
Oh yeah.
So hell is not the most amazing place to be
There's
at.
a reason why. There's a reason why.
Unless you're Espadon the Feather Sword, then hell's amazing.
It's so nice. You can dance, you can do a thing. But yeah, and then again, look over the conversion guideline is 1 page. Everything is really kind of.
You wouldn't think so.
You wouldn't think that like
by the amount of questions that are on the
from
Facebook
switching
page.
from like season 7 to 8. I mean, there was a huge conversion when we were doing the checkpoints and stuff. And now moving from 8 to 9, they've really just been like, okay, well, here's a page of changes. Like this is gone, this is gone. If you have a question that kind of involves this, refer to section A where it's gone. So
It's gone.
it's gone. You know, if you had treasure checkpoints, no, they're gone. You know, things
I just like to watch Travis's post. Yeah, no, it's gone.
it's gone. Listen, if you unlocked an item but you didn't buy it,
Or like,
do I have the item?
Yeah.
Well, no, because if you don't have the item,
you don't
have the item.
Yeah, I don't know how else to explain that to you. No, it's gone.
It's gone.
4 posts down. No, they're still gone.
Yeah.
But what if no?
The only things to kind of keep in note is legendary items. Legendary items are reserved for characters in tier 4. If you do have a legendary item, don't worry, it doesn't disappear or anything. It's just in your backpack until you are, until you're the right
worthy.
age. Until you
It's
turn
the right
18.
It's very
Yeah,
simple.
there you
It's
go.
very simple. We all know a lot of you have picked up a piece of gear in Warcraft, and you couldn't use it for 3 or 4 more levels.
Yeah.
You were super frustrated. You thought you were going to cheat the game when you went and you ran the elite dungeon with your homies, and then they beat it for you. They dropped the gear, and it's like, oh, contraire, mon frere, you will not be using this for another 4 levels.
I was gonna say, don't look at me.
I'm too busy needing it all.
Yeah, dude, you had all the gear.
Me, I was not busy needing it all. Let's not even have this discussion right now on stream. No.
So
You're the ninja.
moving past that, for those of you guys that are watching, if you guys do have questions, I don't know if we're experts on all of the conversions and the rewards and things like that. If you guys do have questions though, we can probably weigh in with.
We'll figure it out together.
Yeah, we'll call the dudes. We'll say hi to the peeps,
Yeah.
and we can get most of the answers.
Yeah.
After that, we don't have any crazy morning announcements other than welcome to hell. Check out the book.
Get some minis. The
Oh,
minis
yeah.
are really cool. I know I've seen some people were disappointed. I think they're awesome. The double minis are cool.
So they're coming out with like the legendary bundle for Descent into Avernus.
Yeah,
Where
from Beetle and Grimm.
Yeah,
I
the maps.
That's another argument we got into.
They
but
did Waterdeep
Yeah.
as
They
well.
did, but it's not as epic as the one that I saw that's coming
She
out.
says the new one is better.
It's
I saw the Waterdeep one,
way
and it
better.
was nice. But I personally probably would have been disappointed because I was going to lay the 500, and I would have been.
The Avernus
that
one
would have
was worth
probably kept me from buying the Avernus one. She's telling me the Avernus one's better, and I'm waiting to see the previews because they haven't been able to put any previews up of what it looks like because the book wasn't released yet.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
I got the email and they kind of showed you just a couple of little blips of like, hey, this is what's going to be included.
It's a bigger box.
Let me be clear. I want it to be cool.
It's a much bigger box.
I want it to be great.
I'm not hating in the least bit. I want to have a reason to say I need to spend $500 on a box set.
What we
I
will
love
say,
box sets.
It
That's
should-
what it
should
used to be.
If we do get it, we will do an unboxing here
It
on
sh-
Cleric.
Yeah.
So
it should
that
be my
everyone
gift
can be a part of it.
for the first season that I DM. It should be my first DM
See, dude.
gift. See?
See that?
That's what it should be.
Carne asada. Carne asada. Can't even handle you right now. So yeah, if we do get our hands on one of those, we'll definitely unbox it here on stream so that everyone can kind of see and listen to our opinions.
Working on it.
What?
Still working on it.
Still working on it. Let's see. Following that,
Oh, Lee's saying not worth it.
Lisa's not
But
worth
you know what, Lee?
it. It all depends. Now, if
You guys
if-
can go sit in that corner and be in the it's not
I
worth
mean,
it club.
Lee's probably operating from the same place I am, which is all you can. You're only as good as your last game. And the last thing they released, like I said, I would have been like, I don't know if I'm super pumped on that for $500.
Okay, so here's the plan. We're gonna make the Cleric games elite box. We'll make all of the stuff for it and release
See,
it.
no,
See, now you're
we
getting
couldn't
me.
do it. We
It'll-
couldn't do that.
We
no,
could do it. I
but they
could do
have.
it.
You should
make
see some of the trinkets that are coming with it, like the metal. Like I don't know. There's a lot of cool things I think that are coming with it.
We go high school and we make a book wrap that you wrap around books. We get the original books and put our own cover.
Book covers,
Yeah.
dude. Book
Only for the
covers.
stretchy
Stuff
kind.
for $2.99.
They have
No.
to be the stretchy ones.
Oh
There
my
you
god,
go.
we're
Those are the
going
cool
way
ones.
off topic.
Or is this
there.
the beginning of the Cleric Games Norse Foundry Platinum Edition, dude?
There we go.
Oh,
Titanium
Oh, no.
Edition.
Titanium edition.
I don't know if Charles is in here watching. Where's Fritz?
Fritz.
So, anyways,
So, anywho, all of that aside, we have spent some time seeing as how the newest season is coming out. That kind of gives us time to think about like what we want to build, who we want to become, and a lot of D&D involves magic. So we have spent some time thinking about like what are some of our favorite spells, and that is kind of our next segment that we're going to move on to. With that, Cindy is up on the chopping block. Cindy, you had to choose 5 spells, which you couldn't do because they're all so great. You had to use more of an ability that's it's not a spell, but it's a bard
Well,
doodad.
it's a spell within the bardic instrument.
It acts like a spell. I
spell like
It
spell like
is.
ability.
It is a spell. It's a spell, but it's using the instrument to project the spell. Unlike
It's not using
let's-
an instrument; it's using your boquita.
It's
Well,
using your freaking
that
face.
needs the
Name.
it needs the music of the instrument and my
ineffective for like the first like 2 months of your weekly D&D session, and you're literally, there were no wizards shooting a fucking crossbow in second edition. Like that wasn't the deal. So you've been only had a couple of magic missiles forever now. Maybe a Melf's Acid Arrow. I remember, I think Melf's Acid Arrow was a second level spell in second edition, but you couldn't really do anything. You had so few spell slots, and then finally you get like that big boss bomb at 5th level when you get that first fireball, if you happen to be an evoker. And dude, it was just so rewarding. Like the first time there's 11 orcs in the room, I cast fireball.
I wiped the room.
Everybody's gone.
For me, my favorite thing about Fireball is the fact that it's 8d6. I just like the concept of rolling 8d6. Just woohoo!
But you can do that as a rogue.
Okay, I don't play rogues that often.
Oh yeah, that's a fun part of the rogue. Is
Necklace of Fireball.
It's so fun. Necklace of Fireball is great because you just rip off all of the beads, throw all of them,
Just put them in play.
Boom! It's
Baseball.
so many.
Mhm.
It's so satisfying. Love it.
Yes.
And then the other cool feature about it is because it's a dex save. No matter what, you're generally always going to deal damage with it, whether they make the save or not, unless you're fighting something that's either immune to fire or is a rogue and has uncanny dodge and can just dex save out of a...
Which I don't see Fireball being very effective in Hell right now. So
I don't know, I feel like it can always get hotter.
I guess.
It can always get hotter.
So for this, can you guys go back and just recap cunning words?
Recap the cunning of words.
Cutting words.
Or cutting words, yes, thank you.
Cutting
I
words.
get cunning action and cutting words.
You do that very well. Yeah, Cindy, take it away.
Recapping what it is.
Yeah.
It is like a magical action that a bard takes to reduce damage, either to oneself or to a teammate.
Reduces the attack roll of an enemy.
Attack roll, damage, yeah. It's the opposite of bardic inspiration.
It's bardic de-inspiration.
To the enemy, not your fellow teammate.
Yes. And if you use it as a reaction, right? I believe that was the other thing about cutting words. Is it's all as a reaction.
Yes.
So you can do it whenever it's most
Yeah,
applicable.
exactly. It doesn't have to be on your turn. It could be, like I said, it's to help someone. So if one of your fellow adventurers is being attacked and you want to make sure that they don't go down, that you throw out cutting words to the DM so that when he rolls his damage, he's like, oh, now I got to subtract that from this.
And the only thing you need to be aware of is that a creature that is who can't hear you or
Has
cannot
no
be
psychic.
charmed.
Yeah, it cannot be charmed.
Very important in season 9.
Those things, cutting words.
I know,
is-
we've had this
is-
discussion.
No.
Yeah. So,
all right, that was Firaga Ball that we also covered.
Yes, do I go to the next one now?
Yep.
Ben?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the next one is from my instrument. This is the one that everyone's having a hard time. Hypnotic pattern. And the reason I even have hypnotic pattern is because of the fact that it's in my guitar, correct? Is that what it is, Ben? Is that why we have that up there like that?
No, because if you cast it while using your guitar, you impose disadvantage on them.
Oh, well, I haven't done that yet. So that is new. That's right. Danny gave me hypnotic pattern when helping me build that. It's not in my instrument. You put the instrument there because of that extra damage. And I didn't even know that until, what, a week ago? A week ago. I don't know. It was...
No, how do you say?
But, yeah, so that is interesting. Ben, let's repeat this again. If I perform it if I do hypnotic pattern, which I have in my spells, and I do it with the guitar, the spell ends for an affected creature if it takes any damage or someone uses the effect. Hold on. You can play the instrument while casting a spell that causes any of its targets to be charmed on a failed saving throw, thereby imposing disadvantage on the save.
so you can use your fucking looking.
Oh yeah.
Our Spanish guitar is where we're flavored at.
Cindy, how do you pronounce this word? How do you say it?
Fuck you.
Danny's hurting a little bit right now.
I love it.
I'm screaming. Why are you screaming, Daniel?
Because you're over here saying fuck Luke.
I think it's because he put it on your list for a reason and you didn't realize that was why. It's because you would have a disadvantage. I'm assuming, right, Danny?
Right, Danny? Is that why?
Fuck Luke? No, hypnotic pattern's pretty great. It's a bit of an AoE that kind of charms.
Danny's gonna school us on chat. I hope so. I hope he schools us up on chat right
He's
now.
gonna be like, listen, you guys.
Repeat
I've been working
the
with
question.
you for
Repeat the
weeks
question
now.
he said. Did you explain that to me about the fuck Luke?
Why are you screaming? Because you didn't know that you imposed disadvantage through the spell or through the instrument?
What was it, Danny? Anyways.
Anywho,
What hypnotic pattern does is it creates a twisting pattern of colors that weaves through the air in a 30-foot cube. So pretty much I get really stoned and get everybody else around me really high, and they all start tripping.
you just give them all contact highs.
Yeah, I'm
with
just
your,
like-
with your guitar, like.
I got that good stuff from Cholt, you know what I mean? And I'm just blowing
What
it
do
in
we
my
call
face.
it? What are those? Cholton Fire.
Cholton Fire.
Cholton Fire.
The classic.
Grown by my Theo himself. Up in the hills of Cholt.
Oh, in the hills.
So
fantastic.
that one is I think visually speaking, like role playing wise, that's a really cool spell.
I'd always imagine it like a kaleidoscope.
That's kind of how I imagine it too. You know what I mean? Or like what they always tell you, like when they're trying to describe like against cannabis, when they're like, oh, it makes you see things like this. Like that's what I'm like, oh, like that's like some good stuff then, right? And that's what you start seeing. You're like, oh, dude.
On a side note, so the other day when at the charity event with Lee, what was it? It was like you were fighting something that all had like Dare shirts on.
Yeah.
What was that was going on?
Oh, that was because that's because Rudy, my Dragonborn Paladin,
Yeah.
is named after Ruderalis, the auto-flowering strain. So instead of blowing cones of poison, he blows cones of chronic smoke. So in the next battle, he puts Dare shirts on the enemies, and that's why.
And then at one point he had some of them spraying pesticide because I played his hippie sister.
What was your voice for that?
Yeah, man, like I'm here because like I love the plants, man, and we gotta save the universe.
She's
you
just totally
know?
letting people
like,
die. She's attacking the dudes, killing the plants. It
How-
was awesome.
Yeah,
Like how dare
she and
you,
imagine a
man?
dragonborn that talks like that, a green
That's
dragonborn.
like my tree.
Because
Like,
you don't really get the lips that you get when you talk. Like you don't get the lips. It'd be a dragonborn, so it'd be like you just get the eyes. Just a mouthful of teeth.
dare to keep Rudy off the breath weapon. Lee.
That was funny.
That's a good one. Another good one that I think is going to be very beneficial coming up in this next season of gaming is Mage Hand.
Oh.
That one, if you can make sure that someone in the team, adventuring team or group,
Nope.
has Mage Hand, it will come in handy. I can promise you that.
What about? I try to add this one too. Because of Mage Hand Ledger Main.
We ran into a couple instances where the three of us were like, "Oh, I want this one. No, I want this one. No,
Yeah.
wait, no, I think no." That
Did you
was
pick
the
Mage Hand too?
No, I didn't. I didn't end up picking it, but
He's like, I just want all the fun cantrips as one whole topic.
I was like, can I just literally have like Prestidigitation and Druidcraft and Thaumaturgy? Can I have like, just all of those in one? No, you can have one. But you're no fun, man. you're stifling my creative mind. But anyways, keep telling us about Mage Hand.
Yeah, tell us about Mage Hand.
Well, Mage Hand is a little hand that comes out and opens things or grabs things.
Spectral floating. So
Spectral
it's like
floating.
I always see it as blue for some reason.
I always imagine it as like not blue, but like you know how do you remember the most recent Casper the Friendly Ghost, like with Christina Ricci? How when he would pass by things, it was kind of like see-throughy, but not really see-throughy. Like it had like a bubble looking kind of effect.
Add that to your vocabulary.
With like a slight
What's the word?
opaque
See-through-y.
coloring.
See-through.
Whatever. If you don't know
No, I
what I'm
feel it.
talking about,
I think I know what you're saying.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's what I see.
No.
You know how Casper's kind of blue?
no, it's not when he's blue. It's almost like he's like that. Like
You
it's
know,
like
you know in the
when you
Predator,
think of like
when the Predator does his little invisibility thing and he walks past the bushes.
yes,
And it's bubbly.
and it looks like or like Wonder Woman's invisible.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
That wasn't actually a pretty good description, Mikey. When he walks in front of the bushes and the bushes are like wavy.
No,
Yeah.
it's like when you watch Barefoot Contessa and she starts adding butter. It just gets all wavy and bubbly.
He's so stupid.
Rumor has it that she doesn't wear shoes when she cooks.
Oh my god. Oh, maybe she likes to feel the earth, dude. I don't know.
I mean, I don't wear shoes when I
Her name
cook.
is Barefoot.
But that could
I'm
just be
just
her
saying.
name. Why are you
That's
gonna
the
go
rumor.
do that?
Okay, that could be her maiden name.
I don't know. It could be.
She could
Anyways.
come from the tribe of bare feet.
Oh, how about the land of bare mage hands? But I think being able to use mage hand to get away with some stuff in hell is probably going to be very beneficial.
Or extremely problematic.
Especially,
Depending.
what if you're like, doesn't the arcane trickster rogue use mage hand?
All I gotta say.
Yes.
I mean,
See what I mean?
All you gotta say
Legitimately,
is
the two of you guys know the most about it.
I gotta pick 80 gold pieces an hour, so
Mage hand is going to come in handy, right?
I'm gonna be definitely getting us into some trouble.
Yeah.
The whole dynamic of I pick the pocket of the NPC is back and in full effect in season 9.
It's supposed to be. They definitely wanted to make sure they gave that back to the people.
The mage hand ledger pin is on there as
Yeah.
well. That's the part that the rogues.
I see it right here. The Arcane Trickster Mage Hand Ledger Main. Starting at level 3, when you cast Mage Hand, you can make the spectral hand invisible, and you can perform the following additional tasks with it. 1. You can stow one object the hand is holding in a container worn or carried by another creature. 2. You can retrieve an object in a container worn or carried by another creature. And 3. You can use thieves' tools to pick locks and disarm traps at range. You can perform one of these tasks without being noticed by a creature if you succeed on a dexterity, sleight of hand, check, contested by the creature's wisdom, perception check. In addition, you can use the bonus action granted by the cunning action to control the hand.
Yes.
I will say the best thing about that is I didn't know you could use your cunning action for like to do the bonus action.
Yeah.
With Ledgerman hand, like that I didn't know, and that makes it way cooler in my book. So I like
Just
that.
like bonus action.
Bonus
how
action
many-
sleight of hand.
Umberto doesn't have any healing potions, but he has everybody's healing potions.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So I'm
I'm
telling
hurting.
you.
Bring me a healing potion.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Trust me.
No, that's-
Esperanza's very excited about bringing her husband back down after visiting by herself. She's like, Jace, my love, we must go and visit this place. You will love it. It was made for us. It is nice and warm and everything. Why? Kitty's like it warm
I
and
know.
toasty.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. I said I didn't say anything. Hot dog. Yeah, no, the mage hand's pretty good. I know you guys have gotten through a lot of
Yes,
shenanigans.
yes, Lee. I did try to reference the 1995 Casper the Friendly Ghost movie. Thank you.
95 Casper.
You were like the most recent Casper movie, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, the only one I know of is like
Yeah, the
Not
most
recent at all.
Well, it's the only one, I guess. I don't know. 95 seemed like it was just.
That was
yesterday.
I think in that movie it was he was trying to become human.
Yes, he was.
Does he?
He was Devon Sawa, and yes, he becomes human.
Yeah.
For a moment.
And then he dies again.
And then he turns back into like Cinderella.
I thought
He
he
gets
died.
like a
doing,
no.
like,
Well, I
a-
guess technically
the only
he
reason
does
you know
die.
about it is because of Devon Sawa.
No, it's for Christina
I love-
Ricci.
I love him.
Not just reference, but you called it new.
I know,
The
I
newest.
know, I know.
You know, that's the newest one in my
Because
Because I was like,
Everyone's coming in now. They're all making fun of me.
I'm pretty sure there's been some animated ones and some
There
other
has
stuff.
been animated ones because my son's 9 and he's watching.
Yeah, when he turns invisible and he goes all blue, 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 blue.
It's new to me.
All of this honestly segues, I think, to Cindy's last and final magic spell.
Oh, which the
The
one
best.
I really wish was just real. I want this one to be real so badly. Like I want this to like in my everyday life. I wish it really did cause
you just
complete
psychic
psychic damage on people. Vicious
Cindy,
mockery.
you cast this every goddamn day.
But it doesn't do
At
anything
me.
anymore. You guys all.
She
all-
said, bruh,
You guys are
you
all-
gonna need some of that head and shoulders.
You did.
She said, bruh, you really wearing that? She said, bruh, why you look like this? She
Look
said,
at Mikey. I'm just trying to make you more pretty. Okay, I'm trying to help you.
How's the
I'm,
mocking dressing me like a blueberry?
oh yeah, you dressed me like a blueberry.
I did not dress you like a
Yes,
blueberry.
you did.
Look at. I told Josh. I'm like, look at Josh.
She
clothes
said,
fit
Josh, you
differently
better tell him.
Then they fit Mikey because it does not make you look the way it made Mikey look that day.
Because we're white.
But Josh is white too.
No. Okay, I'm white.
But let's
Okay.
talk about the shave job that we did.
It was
this
an
morning.
accident. That's what I'm talking
Vicious
about.
mockery.
That's what I'm talking about.
What score are you taking right now? Like 12?
That was cutting words right there. Mikey's in the middle of his attack roll, and you just said, "Let's talk about the shave job." You're done.
I'm a real bard. I can't help it.
You're done. That was vicious mockery in real life, and then cutting words. You couldn't ask for a better demonstration. That was an easy 44. You just rolled on him right there.
Oh my god. Look at Mikey. I care about you, okay?
Oh, fuck. All right.
I'm alright.
I hate you.
You're alright.
The one thing you always forget is that your vicious mockery damage increases.
Yeah.
I know, I do.
Honestly,
I always just want to roll, and that's where I got the D4. I
You
was
get
like,
so
thinking of this
excited,
mockery
you get
that I
so
did
wrapped up
words.
in the RP for it every time that you're just like, you don't even care what you roll.
No.
out
Lee
there.
said it too. Vicious mockery is in effect right now.
the thing about Cindy's like IRL vicious mockery is it cascades. So she casts it once, it's a D4. She casts every time she recasts it and it's successful, she just adds extra dice. But the thing is it's a dice bag of random dice. She just grabs something else. So sometimes it's a D20 of damage.
Yeah.
You know, other times it's a D4. Other
It
times
also
it's
imposes disadvantage on the next attack.
no. If anything, it does. You're just because you try to sit there and fumble like. No,
I feel
Cindy.
like I have disadvantage on it every time now. Because they've somehow received a magic item that has now made them susceptible to my psychic damage. It's like a helm of some sort that they
It's-
wear. I don't know.
It's helmet
a
of
helm
I'm
of
not actually
shame.
listening.
But I don't.
It's called shame.
You guys, but
It's
apparently,
a cloak of shame.
apparently they can only use it so many times a day before they
Mikey's
have
only
to be
been around for a
charged.
year, dude. His is like Kappa shame. Mine's like fucking full plate shame.
Look at these new bracers of shame. I got.
Factoring into every movement
I am
of my
not.
life.
You guys are now vicious mocking me because you guys are mocking me and making me feel like I'm a bad person, and I'm not. And so now
I'm
this just got
sorry.
reversed on
Cindy,
me.
tell us a little bit more about vicious mockery.
Well, besides what you just did to my feelings right now by unleashing a string of insults to me, I don't know how else.
They
to
were
describe
subtle. They were subtle.
it. But anyways, yes, they do use a 1d4 starting out at level 1, and then they go up as you level up. By level 5, you get into D4. By level 11, you get three D4s. 17, you get 4 D4s. And oh, I thought you were laughing. I was like, what did I do now?
Big part is that it doesn't need to understand you. Like shit talking is universal.
Yeah, it translates into someone yelling at you, pretty much. Like someone's looking at you and you feel like really bad. You're like, oh man, I don't even know, but I feel embarrassed because they're yelling at me. I've had it happen where someone yells at me in another language and I'm like, I'm gonna cry right now because I feel bad. They're yelling at me and I don't know why. And so, yes, it is definitely a really effective bard spell to use.
Yeah, it's like the bread and butter of a bard generically.
Vicious Mockery and Bardic Inspiration are the bread and butter of the starting pyramid of the magic spells for a bard.
As a DM too, most of the time, like their dice check is garbage at like first and second level when they use it.
Yeah.
And like about the third time they use it and they don't succeed, like you can just see just the absolute despair on their face. So like I've for sure fudged probably more Vicious Mockery savings throws than like any other savings throw, just so the bard at the table isn't just soul hammered that like they've wasted like 3 of the 7 attacks they're gonna get in the whole AL session on Vicious Mockery that failed every time.
It's a wisdom savings throw
Because they're always like this. They're like ready. They're ready. It comes around. They're like, I'm gonna cast Vicious Mockery. It's like, oh shit.
Okay, I make my wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
What's your spell save DC? 13.
Max 13.
Max.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll roll a nat 20. Oh, I failed.
You failed.
I failed.
Roll your damage. They're like, oh! They get all excited to fire their D4 out. I love it. I've seen you do it, dude.
What?
No,
fired
DMs have lied to me?
No, I've lied to you before.
Big surprise.
Unless you get a Vicious Mockery in. Well, most of the time you RP it before the roll's done. So it's like extremely anticlimactic if you don't succeed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So, I think
it's like you failed. I'm like, oh, all right, he fucking.
I had that happen.
Could care two shits about my yelling.
Somebody. I can't remember what exactly happened. Somebody took massive damage and died, and I like had their arm chopped off, and then all of a sudden, something happened and they got stabilized or the damage reduced enough somehow that they didn't take double their hit points. And then it comes back around again and the guy gets up and he's like, all right, well, I only attack one-handed with my battle axe. And I'm like, why is that? He's like, well, when I died, you said my arm got chopped off, so I just assumed I didn't have it right now. I was like, that's a good point. Like, how do you go backwards and fix that? I got a little carried away in my descriptions. Like, I was like, yeah, this guy's
he's just
done.
got a little Deadpool big.
Yeah, he falls down and someone like gives him a healing potion, pops him back up again, and he's just like, yeah, I'm missing my arm. And he was going to go with it, too. He was like, oh, yeah, one-handed strike with my battle axe.
That's some dedication.
Oh, yeah. I was like, why is that? He's like, well, because
you chopped my arm off.
The healing potion doesn't just grow my arm back.
But yeah, you got to be careful on the RP before the resolution is there.
The one thing about Vicious Mockery, honestly, and I wish they would change, I wish Vicious Mockery always dealt the d4 of damage. And I wish that, because it makes you do a wisdom saving throw, I wish it had you do a wisdom saving throw to impose disadvantage. So Vicious Mockery is fantastic and phenomenal. If the targets fail that wisdom saving throw, they take minimal damage, doesn't matter, but causing disadvantage on their next attack can be huge in the game. And honestly, again, because it can be really lackluster from time to time, and I wish,
we okay over there
I
again?
really wish that you could just guarantee some damage or guarantee the imposing disadvantage. I think that would make
that would change it, but like just an automatic D4.
Yeah.
Just
and then it doesn't
kill somebody with Vicious Mock.
It doesn't scale up. It doesn't do anything. It's just a flat D4.
I usually have people commit suicide. Like that's the way I describe that. Usually, like they just feel so bad that they just Harry Carey did just right into the stomach and finish themselves.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, how else do you kill somebody with an insult?
Yeah. Your mom was so fat. Oh, I just died from that.
Yeah.
How terrible. I already had really bad problems about that.
That's hilarious.
Today's the day.
So, I guess moving forward, those are Cindy's 5 spells plus ability and some other stuff. We also have Josh. Josh you selected the list of stuff.
Yes, I did.
Let's kick it off, dude.
One of my personal favorites is Cone of Cold.
Now I saw that this was on the list, and I'm like, wait, why would you choose Cone of Cold?
Dude, because as a DM, when Cone of Cold is cast, like you'll ask them for it's like one of the classic ones where when it's casted the first time, they're usually not super high a level. You cast it on them. You tell them to make a savings throw. They fail the save, or they make the savings throw. And they're like, "Oh, I made the savings throw," and you roll it out, and you're like, "Okay, that'll be 22 points of damage." And they're like, "Okay, well, I made my savings throw, so I take 11, right?" No, you take 22 points of damage. That's half.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, are you gonna describe it?" Yes. And then you describe it, and they're like, "Oh, that makes sense." And that's when it's serious. Like the Cone of Cold's out, 8d8. That's usually every time I've ever used that spell on player characters, they always react the same way. "Oh, okay, half, so I only take 10. No.
My favorite is the line: "A creature killed by this spell becomes a frozen statue until it thaws."
So here's
Just
a question
that.
for you on that one. If an NPC is killed or dropped to 0, they're technically considered frozen because they died. But a player, you'd have to outright kill them with that spell.
Oh, to force them to be frozen?
To force them to be frozen, or do you allow them to be frozen making death saves?
See,
And then if they make their death save, they just explode out of the ice.
that's how I would do it. I would
That'd
have
be
them
cool.
frozen, and then if they manage to stay alive. 'Cause, I mean, we've all seen like the
I'm waiting
cartoons.
for Rose Lawyer Raw to chime in.
We've all seen the cartoons and stuff where like they're alive inside the ice and the eyes are moving and stuff.
Yeah.
Or movies like that. I would roll it like that.
Yeah,
Just because
I
I,
mean-
want to encase them in ice.
As an actual player, like it's a good. It'll be crucial in Avernus, obviously, but it's not that like you've got so many other good spells by the time you get to that level, and then to like increase it by casting it at like 7th level, doing like 10d8 or something. There's good combat spells at 7th level too. So,
Yeah.
but for me, that's like a full on DM one. When I love being like, oh, it's. Let me go to the bottom of the list. Cone of Cold. Here we go.
Here we are.
Make a savings throw. Why? Because and it's Constitution.
Oh, that's another like
And that gets your rogue. So it's like your little pesky rogue that's had his plus 75 on dexterity saving throws the whole time. You're like, no, dude, it's Constitution.
that was the other blip that I'm a huge fan of, is that because there are a lot of dex based characters in general, so whenever you do a spell attack that they have to make a dex save, you kind of really run the risk of not doing anything.
Yeah.
The con save on,
Because then your rogue makes
Cold.
his savings throw, then he uses invasion, and he takes nothing.
Yeah.
And he completely dodges you. But now it's like, no, there's no evasion, there's no nothing.
Have you
Not
fought
this
Red Lawyer
time.
Fey yet?
Have I fought one?
Yeah.
Only in the Red War.
There's the evocation like leader who can change the saving throws, or at least this is the way Rob plays them. And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna cast like Meteor Storm. You 3 make intelligence saving throws, you 3 make dexterity saving throws, and you make a strength save.
Ooh,
And like he can like changes the way that the saves are. It's brutal.
yikes.
Always targets the rogue.
That sounds like some Rob. That sounds like some Rob shit right there.
That's
though, dude.
great.
That's probably the case though. I remember stuff like that from 3.5.
I would be silly. I'd cast Meteor Storm and have everyone do a charisma saving throw. Like, why am I doing a charisma saving throw? Because it's beautiful. The most
fabulous.
majestic Meteor Storm ever.
Then my next one after Cone of Cold is Cure Wounds.
Now, this is a staple.
And I didn't actually put Cure Wounds. I put Cure Light Wounds originally, because that spell has been my cut for decades. And
I almost put the Pathfinder.
they put now they've changed it in 5th edition.
Yep.
To 1 cure spell cast at higher levels to increase your damage, because it used to be Cure Light, Cure Serious, and Cure Critical.
Yeah. Or it was it Cure
Moderate
Minor?
was in there. Moderate was added later, but originally it was Light, Serious, and Critical.
Yeah.
And then there was Heal.
Yeah.
And so But Cure Wounds is I mean, I love playing clerics,
But
I rarely get to use Cure Wounds. Believe it or not, at the tables in AL. Like most of the time, so many of the characters have so much damage mitigation that they take a little bit of hit, and then there's always healing potions, and a lot of in 5th edition, a lot of classes have the ability to heal themselves one way or the other. So and there's not a lot of like traditional tanking that's done. Really, there's I've only seen it done a few times, and most of the time when I've been DMing, I've seen Jesse Richmond tank a whole module before, like effectively tank it, like with a Polearm Master Sentinel, and so nothing could get past her because she was just tagging stuff, and then it'd have to stay there, and then so she was able to like really like shape the way the battle looked, and then she was getting healed because she was taking damage, and that's the only time I've ever seen somebody tank like that. So I don't feel like I get to cast it enough anymore. Because that's why I put Cure Light Wounds. Because Cure Light Wounds, I used to cast the shit out of that spell.
yeah.
And that was back in the day before you just had like 4 spell slots and you could pick like whatever ones you wanted. Like you had to be like, okay, so how many Cure Light Wounds am I going to take? Am I going to take 3? Am I going to take all 4 slots? Am I going to take 2 slots Cure Light Wounds and another one? Like it was big choices back then.
Just
So
like poison because
But
we're in a social aspect.
yeah.
No, I totally get what you're saying about like because I don't see Cure Wounds cast a lot, especially in AL. However, at our Dragon by Spire peak with Lee and with Lowe, like Lee's like he's like I'm seeing like him like I cast the heals and stuff. And
As
like,
a bard, I've had to
he's
cast a
using
lot
his
of
healer
Cure
feat.
Wounds.
he is using a lot of the healer's feet too.
I do a lot of Cure Wounds as a bard just because of the fact that like that's one of the other support spells you get.
Yeah.
A lot of so I do tend to do a lot of it, but in the AL game, depending on how long the game is, I probably won't even use it myself.
Yeah, like I don't see a lot of Cure Wounds really happen either.
And I do see more than that. I see a lot of healing word.
Yeah.
More so than because it's range, it's bonus action. I see a lot of that. So I think that spell's kind of taken away from Cure Wounds usage. But especially in AL, I'm sure it's used more in like a homebrew campaign. As far as casting heals like in between battles when you can't take a long rest or whatever. So, but that being said, it's always been my favorite as a cleric. It's my staple go-to, and then that segues me into my next one, which is again another like a lot of my spells, my favorite spells. Like a lot of this stuff comes from 2nd edition, like 2nd edition renditions. So in 2nd edition, like this was the first like real offensive like ass kicking spell that you could get as a cleric, and it was Flame Strike, and it was like in the video games over the years it's always had the coolest animations.
I'm reading it because it just says a vertical column of divine fire roars down from the heavens. I'm just like, okay, this is serious.
And it doubles up too, so you take 4d6 fire and 4d6 radiant. So, and that's always been the case. Like before, it was holy damage or whatever. So undead had all the susceptibilities and whatnot. So it's got some versatility as far as like attacks that or targets that you're using it on, as far as their resistances and stuff go. But I mean, just think it's like a 10-foot, 40-foot high cylinder. So it's just like in the games, like I said, in the video games, you just be going along and everybody's fighting, and then you cast it, and then it'll come to your turn and you cast a spell, and it was always looked so cool in the video game animation because it just looked like it would just absolutely melt everything.
Pillar of devastation
in this little tiny 10-foot circle. It would just melt everything. And I love that. It looks dope in Neverwinter. Like it's one of my favorite spells. It's just the visual on it has always been what I loved. Like this hole opens up in the heavens, and God's fury your God's fury just pours fire and radiant flames down on something. Like how much more like divine can it get when you're just like this. Down comes the flames. So for me, it's always been like a visual thing, and And again, it was another one of those things where it's the first time that you have a spell besides, in the early editions, besides inflict wounds, that is like serious offensive spell, you know, and it was a big one. I think you didn't get it till like much later in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that spell. And then my final one was always one that I've never actually cast this spell in a game before, but as a young kid, like reading through the book, and like I said, my second edition campaign was brutal, and I found as I've gotten older and talked to more people, like a lot of people's second edition campaigns were brutal like this. Like I don't think I had a second edition character that ever got over like 12th level.
Mm-hmm.
So like 9th level spells and stuff to me were like this fantasy thing. Like when I sat down to play my first tier 4 game at AL, it was the first character I'd ever had that was 17. And I get to 18, it's the first character I've ever had that's that high of a level.
Yeah.
And so Gate was always something that I read about that just was like, because in the original
This
one,
was actually one that I was going to put on my list.
Really?
I love this spell.
It's always just been like, you just summon you open up a gate and summon some gnarly demon that comes through and just starts mashing.
Just that happened in our Pathfinder game. Made the entire game completely crazy.
Someone cast Gate.
Yeah, they like just because it's a low level casters of drow, so they had to like do some ritual or whatever to do it, and they summoned almost basically a Baylor, and they had to fight that thing.
I love it.
Rough.
But I mean, like as a DM and creating adventures and stuff, like I've always used Gate or some variation, or just used Gate as inspiration for some kind of like ancient ritual or some crazy nonsense for the players to encounter. Like I love it as a building tool, and it's fantastic. I love Gate.
And that's another one for me that like in the Baldur's Gate games and the Icewind Dale games, and then like the Neverwinter Nights game, not the new one, but the enhanced edition,
Yeah.
all that one. Which on a side note, I saw a post the other day that they had recreated Dark Sun, like to a T in Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition.
Interesting.
Like I was looking at, they had like a little video, they've got like all the stuff, they've got Athos, they've got the huge Colosseums, they've got the whole thing recreated, like down, they've got the player classes released, all the dragons, the Ghostwise halflings, it was wild. Anyways, but back in those games, that was another one that looked super cool. Because there wasn't like really a dynamic for you to like control the creature.
No, it's just kind of
It just opens up and just goes. So I remember in that game, I would just cast it over at the other side of the room behind him. The gate would open up, like out comes the pit fiend or whatever, and it just starts moshing on all the enemies. They're just getting caught between my guys, and then you got to deal with the pit fiend once it's done killing everything else. But it would look so dope.
On an extra side note, in World of Warcraft, back you could summon a Doom Guard, and it was you and all your friends, and someone would get sacrificed, and then you'd summon the fiend, and then you had to enslave the demon. I love doing that, and that was also another like homage to Gate in my mind that I fell in love with.
Dude, Gate's it's a great spell. Now it's a little more difficult.
Just
They've got some more restrictions and whatnot on it, but because back then it was like you could draw the circle, and then you had to like have a check for the circle, and if your circle had a problem in it, and I think like one of the most famous book trilogies ever kicks off with a failed Gate spell. And that's when Akar Kessel cast Gate at the beginning of the Icewind Dale trilogy or not Akar Kessel, but this other guy. Who is it? It's Akar Kessel's mentor, the faceless one, right?
Yeah, I can't remember his name. But
he casts Gate, and he thinks his circle is perfect. And Ertu, the Balor, comes through, and he checks the circle out, and he's like,
Looks good.
good circle. What do you want? And he talks to him, and he's just like, yeah, I don't even need this. Blast the dude out of existence in like 2 seconds. And they've spent like the first 30 pages like building this mage up for how powerful he is. And this dude just like basically flicks him like a booger and just destroys him. And then he's like, yeah, this circle's off. But now, this is apprentice is the one that comes forward, and he's like, now you're going, and you're going to go get me the crystal shard. That's what I'm here for. I was never going to help this idiot anyways. I just wanted to hear what he had to say, but he doesn't know what he's doing, so I'm free now. And then that's how that whole trilogy starts. And then he comes back over and over and over to wreck him. Because, they kill him, but he's only gone for 100 years. Well, that's a fraction of a time for an elf. So Drist encounters him over and over and over throughout the series.
That's how Arquette gets in charge, remember? Because when that portal fails, that's how he ends up
Yeah, he
getting
gets the crystal shard and then he gets to be boss man.
Yeah. And
Like
he ends
if
up
you know the
mupping it
demon's
up too,
name.
though. What?
If you know their name, you can summon specifically that demon.
Yes. If you know their actual name, which I will tell you, this did not make it on my list of spells of favorites, but it's definitely one that's one of my favorites that I wish I could do. Is the one that was, what was it? It was befriend like monster or befriend beast or something like that. Where like pretty much it's like a Xanathar spell, and you can have. Like you can actually
Mini-gate. It's like a little mini-gate.
No, if you get in contact with this monster or this creature, I can't remember. Danny told me I couldn't do it, and he always popped my bubble. And yeah, he always used to make me be like, "Yo,
Conjure,
you can't."
planner, ally.
That's what it was. And it wasn't conjure. It was like take control of something. It was like if I came in.
Summon planar ally, and then you
have to
cast
dominate.
a spell to.
Yeah, and he's like, well, unless you know its name, Cindy, you can't do that, and so you have to have this other spell
And then he
to
pulls-
then get it to then tell you its name, so that you can then have
I was gonna bring
And I
this
was
up
like,
anyways.
"Damn it,
Then he
Danny."
pulls a sheet out of his character and
summon
he's like,
greater demon. That's what it was. It was summon greater
and then
demon.
he's like, this character has documented places where he has run into demons and learned their names. So this is his list of demons that he can summon mechanically.
Dominate monster and be like, what's your
AL
name?
legal. And I'm
Which
like, you're
I will be
fucking wild.
taking major amounts of notes this next season. That's for
yeah,
sure.
no, and it was legit. He had like 8 or 9 names, or
Thank you, Danny.
4 or less, or yeah, it was funny. He had it on point.
Yeah, he was up my ass because I got excited, and he's like, au contraire, mon frère.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna cast summon planar ally.
No, summon greater
Or summon
demon.
greater demon, yeah. And then
He's like, oh really? And do you have this spell? And I was all, no. And he's like, I didn't think so because you're not high enough level to have that one. So, and I'm like, oh shit. And then he's like, and then on top of that, Cindy, that's a Xanathar spell, and you have a Tabaxi, which means you can't use the spell out of the Xanathar book. And I was like, God damn it! So it was
the woes of being
PHB
of
plus
being-
1, dude.
Yeah.
It hurts.
But
One of these
it's
days.
real. It's only really good. Danny said it's only really good for warlocks. You need a really high DC to keep them under control. Even then, high T3, it's still possible for them to break out. And there's Danny with his. This is why you
It's wise
can't do
wisdom.
it, Cindy.
It's wise wisdom.
I know it's good. It's good words and it's
We
good
thought
things to
so.
know,
So the
but-
way we were fooled was it didn't have some of this stuff, some of this extra text on the spell card.
'Cause I was
And
going
we're
through the
looking
spell
through
cards,
it, and
trying
I've
to
never seen
see
this
through
spell
it.
before, and I'm like, summon greater demon. This is fucking amazing. You
This
gotta take this spell. I can't believe they're giving you this at this level. Oh, okay, that makes sense now.
I get it.
Oh, there's some drama.
Because it can turn on you. You can summon it and then it will attack you instead. Like, why did you wake me up,
And
lady?
that, and then
I cast Summon Esperanza.
and then my last spell
This is not a concert.
is identify. And again, not really a 5th edition spell necessarily, but a crucial spell scroll to have in previous editions to find out what your stuff was. And if you've ever played a D&D video game, then
Yeah.
you carried hundreds of these identify
Neverwinter
spells.
yeah.
does it.
Yep.
To this day on their game, on their free to play game,
Identify
they
spells.
have you pick up things and you don't know what they are, like equipment.
The biggest influence for like scroll of identify for me is Diablo, because for Diablo 1 and
Yeah.
2, like you needed that forever.
Mhm.
Like, oh,
And you needed hundreds of them.
here's this blue thing, and you're like, what? Okay.
Identify.
Identify.
Yeah, no, then that, for me, that's 100% a video game one. You know, just because
Yeah.
it's been always, it was, you know, usually you didn't again, because in 2nd edition, you weren't going to use up a slot for a utility spell like that.
Yeah.
So you had it, but you didn't use it. So I can't tell you the amount of times I carried around magical items for hours and hours of play sessions without knowing what they were until we got to a point where we could take a camp and take the time to cast Identify on all of the stuff, then take another day for him to rememorize the spells that he really needed, and then we'd be able to move on, you know? So it was never really cast all that many times back then, but it was crucial. If
I believe, if I'm correct, in 5th edition, when you pick up a magic item, not in every sense do you know what it is, but I think you can spend an hour or a short rest identifying what it is and all of the properties surrounding it.
Yeah, they changed that now.
Yeah.
Read that last sentence, Josh. That's really freaking
That's going to
cool.
be my final part. Is that something that's somewhat new, where you can actually touch something, I cast Identify, and find out like what's wrong with it, like or if
and
what
you
spells
learn
are on
what
it.
the spell is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's
So that's pretty cool. That's pretty useful. That changes the utility of it for sure. But you know, it's again.
He's afflicted by dark
Usually, like nobody takes Identify, and it frustrates me because they're like, "Yeah, I pick up this potion." It's like, okay, you have a potion. Well, what is it? I don't know. Do you have Identify? And they get super mad at me because it's like everybody's just hand fed to them.
You pick up a mysterious viscous liquid.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my favorite DM response. Is like, hey, are there monsters in the room over there? I don't know.
Give it a sip.
I don't know.
Open the door.
Well, for potions now in 5th edition, you can take a sample of it without reading the potion.
Yep.
And not having the effects hit you to be able to identify the spell. That's in the potion.
interesting.
And those are Josh's.
Undated comment. Hi, welcome.
Hello and welcome. This is a show where we talk about the stuff and the things. So those are Josh's kind of five spells. Those are pretty rad.
Andrew said, "Gotta have that tome of Identify."
Yeah. So I also picked some spells.
What do you got, Mikey?
So at the top of my list I have is Animate Dead. Now this is an all-time favorite of mine.
He's a good one.
One of my favorite schools of magic is necromancy. I love zombies and I love the undead and I love everything that surrounds everything about that. Always.
You like pink zombies.
I do. Animate Dead I think is a fantastic spell. It's something that can be a little bit wonky in AL. But it allows you to create zombies or skeletons off of the fallen foes that you've slain or that of the liking. It also gives you basically you could build an army of undead things to just kind of shamble forward. Now zombies and skeletons like inherently aren't that epic, especially in season 5. But in older seasons, you would run into things like skeletons have resistance to slashing, and zombies have resistance to like bludgeoning. And things like that, and so undead creatures had a lot more kind of crazy utility things. So 5th Ed, not as super powerful. However, it's really fun to kind of just start like animating undead objects to kind of do your bidding.
Have you ever used it?
Yes.
Can you tell us a story of when you used it?
So
Your favorite one?
oh wow. So in 5th edition, when you animate the undead, the alignments of them are your alignment. And so I'm playing a lawful good like wizard necromancer, and I summon a whole army of undead, and we go to this town, and the town is currently like under investigation by this like these clerics and stuff, and they're like they detect undead, and they see an army of the undead, and I'm like no, don't worry, they're good undead, and they're like what? And so like the town goes through like this series of like ways to identify if they're actually evil undead, and so they're like well no, its alignment is good, and they're like okay, well it must walk into this zone of truth. And so like the adventure took place where I was like basically trying to lawyer this army of undead that I created, that don't worry, they're good undead, and the whole town was like I don't think so. And so it was kind of a fun. They like danced and sang
That's awesome.
and did all the stuff like no, I swear.
So
don't
they were
do
like
that."
Disney zombies.
Yeah.
Did they like rebuild the town?
Well, of course not. Now that you say that, that's what I should have had them do. Like, they're here to repair your homes, the broken ceiling tiles.
Free work.
Yeah. So Animate Dead, it's not something you're going to get till 5th level. When you are a wizard with necromancy, you get to do a lot of fun stuff with it. I love it. Animate Dead, check it out. Do that. The following spell I got is Dimension Door. Now, Dimension Door is actually a spell that I fell in love with from a monster in 3rd edition.
Before you get to the next one, I want to know: do you prefer skeletons or zombies?
I prefer zombies. I like the slam attack, and I like the concept of just they're all shambling. I like the shambling. Skeletons are nice, but zombies are kind of where it's at, in my opinion.
What would you pick, skeletons or zombies?
I mean, zombies are going to smell bad. There's no way around it. I think a skeleton would smell a little bad, a little bitter.
I think with a zombie, you could try to figure out how to like make it do what you want it to. Whereas a skeleton, I don't know. A skeleton, I think is just like not as cool as a zombie.
Honestly, Esperanza, if she could have it, I think she'd take skeletons because they make the bone noise.
And they got to be Dia de los Muertos skeletons.
I just start painting on them. I'm like, stop moving.
Yeah.
Just follow us.
Hey!
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the follow. Really enjoying the support. Josh, what would you choose out of zombies and skeletons?
You know, I'd probably go with skeletons.
Yeah?
Yeah, like zombies, I wouldn't want to be around them because they're scary. Skeletons are less scary for some reason to me.
I think zombies are less scarier than skeletons.
I think a zombie would tell a better joke.
The skeletons tell no jokes, dude. See, that's the thing. They're just quiet and they just stand there. But the little beady red pin pricks of light in their eyes, that would probably bug me too. I don't know. The whole thing terrifies me.
You don't like horror things anyways. We love that stuff. So Joe says, can a necromancer really be good?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Okay.
I could see there being a good necromancer. Like you have sympathy for the dead and you feel bad.
Going back towards like the school of magic and necromancy, it's a very neutral, in my opinion, it's a neutral kind of school. I think that necromancy inherently is not good or evil. If you are a necromancer, like returning the dead. Now, animating a pile of bones is it's nothing crazy. It's not until you start getting to the points where you're like affecting souls or like desecrating the dead or like consecrating like doing all like until you start getting to that, necromancy it's fine.
It's like see, Danny just made a good point. Endless farm labor, increasing standards of living. See?
Okay.
He said that. He said, you use bodies, not souls, to power skeletons, dude.
Well,
Deacon wonders if necromancers should form a union or something. I think
There's a necromancy union. All of the zombies need to have, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they're like, dude, we're just not going to work for free anymore. You can't just drag us out of the ground, dude.
There's a book called Mod World that specifically goes like this necromancer raises a bunch of skeletons and zombies, and they're just like, yeah, what do we get out of it? Like they still have their minds and their intelligence, and he's like, well, you can be my minions and blah blah blah. And they're like, yeah, but like we don't get paid or whatever. Like,
Well, see, I read a book back in the day that was called Necroscope, and it was like this whole long series about this kid who could talk to the dead, and the dead loved him. And they were like eager to want to talk to him because they felt lonely. So I could see there being good necromancers that are like, well, they just don't want to be alone. So I'm going to keep them company, and maybe some of them want to be summoned and do some stuff again.
That's fair.
Maybe there's some soldiers that just afterwards they just want to keep soldiering on, or maybe a farmer's like, man, I really enjoyed my life and I wish I could do it again. You know what, buddy?
Keep farming.
Let's do it.
And
Let's do
like
it.
honestly, because like the anime Dead makes it one of my favorites because one of my favorite stories is if you had the power to return someone to life, like, would you do it? Like that morality question, like things like Pet Cemetery.
Yes.
You know, like if you
Death becomes her.
Dude, if I was a necromancer, I would probably be the kind that'd be like, oh, my animal's dead, I'm bringing him back. I'd just be surrounded by
Like,
zombie animals.
I'm surrounded by
I
zombie
feel-
animals, zombie family members. You would raise like past generations to ask
Like,
questions.
Yes,
does
I
a
would.
necromancer choose to become a necromancer, or does a person become a necromancer out of like necessity?
I think, I don't know.
Like, are
I've always
necromancers born?
I've
Or
always
are they
assumed,
made?
in my opinion, from what I've read and like just in the world of fantasy, to me a necromancer is someone that's born with it. Like, you know, like the kid like from Sixth Sense, like I see dead people. You know what I mean? Like that to me is a form of necromancy. Like maybe your power isn't to bring them to life, but you can to communicate with them and actually like know what they're saying, whereas other ones just animate them and get them to do their will.
That's fair. That is very fair.
Or their biddings and stuff.
You know, if anything,
I think those ones teach themselves. I think those are the evil ones.
Well,
Well, except for yours,
Let
I
me-
guess, that brought it to life. Maybe you were born with it. Maybe
Well-
it's Maybelline.
IRL Joe wants you to cast Speak with Dead before you raise him.
like,
Ask for permission. to
do
consent.
do I have consent?
Yeah,
to
you need
raise him?
consent. Thank you, Joe. Yeah.
I need to make him a very charismatic like sorcerer of sorts. Be like, is it okay if I bring you back? And they're like, I don't know, you know. I'm like, well, listen, let me tell you about all the good things out there. So, but
That
I
cigar
love
again, huh?
I love that whole
Does
thing.
this thing bug you?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to my next spell.
This spell's really cool, Mikey.
So the next spell that I have on the list is Dimension Door.
Salcedo says, damn, the conversation is turning my afternoon into a damn Sally Jesse Raphael.
The things we talk about and where we go. So Dimension Door is the next spell that I have on the list. Dimension Door is a spell that I fell in love with
Not at
from a creature in 3.5, a blink dog. So Dimension Door is a very simple spell. You teleport yourself to a location that's like within 500 feet. So you don't have to see the location. You can like choose like, okay, 300 feet in this direction, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. So you kind of just teleport around. You can bring someone with you. If you were to arrive in a place that like like a wall or something, you take damage and you don't teleport. So it's
Do you hear the noise? Like a
ow. But you do take force damage from it.
What that makes me think of? One of the favorite magic items that was given to us in game one time was I think it was in Chol, wasn't it? Where they gave us paints, and you were supposed to use these paints to paint a dimensional door.
Yeah.
It was a paint.
Magnificent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the magnificent paints. What was the full name of it again?
Nolzers.
Nolzers.
Magnificent pigments.
Magnificent pigments. That's what it was. Yes, those I thought were so freaking cool. I was like, wait. What do you do with those? And they're like, yeah, you paint a door with them.
Become Acme.
Yes, it's like a Looney Tune episode. Exactly. Oh, I love that. But that to me, that's what Dimension Door reminds me of. It's a more flavored version of it, which I think is cool.
But although the biggest reason why this is on my list is because a blink dog, at least in 3.5.
Yeah, they're marvelous, not magnificent.
Oh, marvelous. I'm
Blink
sorry.
dogs had the innate ability to cast
Give me
Dimension
that
Door on
cigar.
themselves, and so like in 3.5, like there's these like lawful good puppers, and they could blink around, and they would be your companion to do all this stuff, and then there's this really fun play between like blink dogs and displacer beasts, so it's cats and dogs. And I was just like, I fell in love with the blink dog.
Blink dogs are the first minis Cindy and I ever painted together.
Yeah, I think that they're
I made a
so cool.
I made a really cool one where the portal, it looks like it's like I like watered down blue, so it had a blue tint, and then I just put glitter, nail polish, so it looked like it was like all like glistening and stuff like that. That was my interpretation
I love it, dude.
of a portal that a blink dog would come through. Like I see it being all. What's that show? I've never watched it, but it reminds me of the Portal.
Rick and Morty?
No, it's the Portal. Like it's like a space show that you guys.
Stargate.
That's what I think of it, where it's like all like blue water-looking colors, and it opens up, and that's cool.
So Dimension Doors on my list solely because of Blink Dogs. They are
That's
in 5th
cool.
edition. They have Blink Dogs. They're allowed to do Dimension Door. In 3.5, the Blink Dog was epic, super powerful, and I loved the crap out of them. And my whole goal every time I played was to befriend a Blink Dog and have them accompany me in all of my adventures.
Dimension Door is also on Cave of the Mountain Bank.
It's on what?
It's a magic item, Cave of the Mountain Bank, which allows you to. I don't think it requires 2 mana, so you can use one Dimension Door.
Yeah, they have a handful. There's actually a handful of magic items that allow you to do Dimension Door shenanigans.
Ben, you need to get a button that allows you to mute and unmute your mic so that everybody can hear you like clear as day. Like it's just
Super
this
crisp.
ominous voice
We're
in the
working.
background.
It's on the
that,
to-do
that
list.
just pops out of nowhere, and everyone's all,
We're gonna have. It's all on the to-do list.
yeah.
Oh, the Cape of the Mountain Bank too. It smells faintly of brimstone. You disappear in a cloud of smoke.
Ooh.
I mean, so Dimension Door does have a lot of utility because you can kind of, so long as you kind of know where you want to be, you can teleport 500 feet in any direction, which is nice. Following that, DT's, we had a little birthday limit stuff. The Dimension Scissors is one of the special attacks. I was going to incorporate a Dimension Door in the scissors.
That was, weren't we saying we were gonna try to rip into time
Yeah,
and like
we-
create like a
you know.
dimensional door with the scissors?
And I was
so
like,
he
oh.
can teleport from one end of the room to
The
another.
only reason, the reason
From the
why
admin table to wherever he needs to go.
the reason
Yeah.
why I didn't do that because I was gonna force other players to get hit by the dimension, so you could literally just like chop them out of the battle 500 feet that way. And I'm like, okay, that's a little OP for a boss fight.
Well,
No
you were gonna
way.
make
Because
us
it would just
roll
because
at
it's just a
17th
standard
level.
attack, just
Bro,
boop.
the fact that you use the admin table as phylactery.
Yeah, legendary. So, but yeah, so that's what I got. I have Dimension Door. It's nothing too crazy. But the next spell that I have is ridiculously powerful. Like, I think it's super powerful. It's epic. It's called Glibness. Now, Glibness.
Never even heard of this.
This is a powerful.
What level is this spell?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's like 7 or 8.
It's 8th level.
It's 8th level. So Glibness. Until the spell ends, when you make a charisma check, you can replace the number you roll with a 15. Additionally, no matter what you say, magic that would determine if you're telling the truth indicates you're being truthful. So Glibness, whenever you make your charisma check, if you roll under a 15, you just get a 15 out of it. So it makes all charisma role play like you're just a god and
At lying.
you're so smooth in all of your words. I love it. And the fact that like if they're like, okay, zone of truth, you can only tell the truth. Well, I am telling the truth. I blah 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 blah. Anything you say is truthful. I love it. It's crazy cool. It's a high spell. I like playing charisma, like roleplay scenarios, and
So you're pretty much like a lawyer, and like everything you say is the truth.
everything.
Right?
It's all truthful, and anything that any charisma check is a flat 15 plus your modifier. So I mean, like Esperanza, the bard, has a what in persuasion, like a plus.
Oh,
something.
I think it's like 7 or something ridiculously high, even though she's only like level like
So with
4. is
with
what I have her
glibness,
at,
if you had glibness
oh,
casted
not
on
4,
her,
she's level what? 7, 8.
It's only a bard or a warlock spell.
that's because it's a more
Well, it's a
and
great
only-
bard spell.
it's
Let's
only on
not
yourself.
let's not kid ourselves. That is a great bardic spell. I mean,
So
if
with
you're
your-
going to be trying to convince someone to let's make a good scenario here.
Yes.
We are at a cave, and we know that it's infested by orcs, and they have guards at the front of the door, and you're going there to tell them that you got sent by their boss. Glibness is going to be that thing where you can totally activate, and they're going to be like, Oh, okay.
You're
You
gonna
know
be able
it's-
to walk in there and
Yeah.
do whatever you want.
They're either so distracted by how big your boobs are or how beautiful your eyes are that they're just gonna let you in, or you're such a good liar that you know the names of everybody, you know where to go without being instructed where to go, that they're like, yeah, for sure.
Hey, Bob, hey Steve, what's going on? See ya. Like,
Yeah, exactly. They're like, who the hell is that guy? I don't know. He knew our names though. You know?
Paul, who are you? Oh, I'm the new shift lead. Oh, why don't you look like an orc? Oh, it's all makeup. This is all makeup.
That's why they hired me.
Hey, can you point me towards blah blah blah? Oh yeah, it's this restaurant. Thank you so much. And you just walk in, do your thing, walk out. So glibness, it's fantastic, super powerful. I love it.
Yes.
So
It's a good one. I've never heard of it, and you would think I would have as a bard, but I've never heard of it.
you
I never.
get to 8th level spellcasting.
It's
Because I don't think I hit 8. I think she's at 7 still. I think I'm supposed to probably be like 9 or 10 with her, but I don't think I've even leveled her up.
so it's
9th is the cap for spellcasting. It's an 8th level spell.
you're gonna non-tell Speranza's like
16.
Oh,
level
I
16.
see what you're saying. Okay, I thought you meant like level character. Okay, yeah, no.
it's a very
So I won't see it for a hot minute, and that's fine.
but
I probably would have if I would have leveled her up with all the points that I had from DMing or
I
not
think-
DM, but adminning with the DM points.
I think again, glibness is also a really fun DM like a way to help tell a story. Like if you were to if you encountered an NPC that had glibness on them, and you're like zone of truth, and they could blatantly lie and all this crazy stuff.
Like Joe says, you're diversity higher. Like you can literally do anything at that point if you cast.
Yeah.
You can,
So long as you it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a really good spell.
have you ever used it?
No, I've never needed to. I never roll anything under than a 15.
I know I've rolled some hot numbers, dude. That just.
But if you're a rogue at a certain level as well, you automatically roll 15s if it's anything lower than a 15.
True, but you're a bard.
Or what is it? A wizard or
Warlock.
Warlock?
Yeah.
I mean, shit, a warlock could probably really do something like that.
With
then.
glibness.
Yeah.
I cast glibness on myself. Okay, I want to speak to the demon. What's your name? Oh, really? Oh, I love it.
It's beautiful. What a
Absolutely.
beautiful name.
You're gonna summon the Danny in here.
Following that is a spell. I think all of us.
Oh, the
want to put
Savage
on the
MK
list.
is now following. Thanks for following, Savage
Hey,
MK.
thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
September.
September.
No, they're not coming from Twitch. They're coming in from Mixer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We got people from all over the place. So the next spell that I have on my list is a spell I think all of us love. Some of us. Oh yeah, it has a little icon
Cool.
on
Oh, I
it.
see.
See it.
I'm sorry. I'm behind the times.
You're learning. You're learning, though, man.
I'm
It's
behind
okay.
the times, dude.
He knows all the old editions, but he doesn't know about any of these electronical new editions.
Fangled gadgets.
You kids and your stuff,
In your iPad.
your cell phones. And So
The only pads I had was a pencil and a notepad, a paper.
I had to walk uphill both ways when I wrote my name.
I love
That's
it.
the kind of old man I'm going to be.
Oh my god, you're already turning there.
So following is a spell I think all of us love.
Everybody.
It's a fantastic spell. It's a staple. It's prestidigitation. This spell has a ton of a bunch of influences, a bunch of tricks, a bunch of cool things that you can use to kind of, something. I'm at a loss of words.
You don't want someone to smell you because you've been somewhere gross?
I like to use it as,
Prestidigitation.
Back to the Future, when they go into the future and he's got the air dry things. He presses a button and it starts to clean, dry him out. That's what I feel like prestidigitation is.
It is.
The section's clean.
So, prestidigitation is a minor magical trick that novice spellcasters use for practice. You create one of several magical effects. You can make harmless sensory effects such as shower of sparks, a puff of wind, musical notes, an odd odor. You can light or snuff out candles, torches, or campfires. So this is one of my favorites. You can instantaneously clean or soil an object no larger than 1 cubic foot. So I've run into a scenario where we're playing against a bard, and the bard does vicious mockery and is like, "You pooped your pants," right? And they're like, "No, I didn't poop my pants." And the next turn was like, I prestidigitation to soil his pants, and so you instantly, "Oh, he pooped his pants." Absolutely hilarious.
Eating your pants is cool.
So you can chill, warm, or flavor up to a cubic foot of non-living material. So you can make a rock taste like a lollipop. You can do a lot of silly stuff with that. You can make a color, small mark, or symbol appear on an object or a surface for an hour. So if you're in a labyrinth or any kind of maze, you can kind of go, here's I'd make an arrow on the ground, kind of a deal. You can create a non-magical trinket or an illusionary image that can fit in your hand, and it lasts till your next turn. So you're like, "Oh, here's a marble."
How many things would you steal like that?
Too many.
I know.
It's a holocron, like when they bring up like the Death Star planets from.
Yeah, you can holocron in your hand, like whoop whoop. Fantastic. You can cast the spell multiple times. And you can have up to 3 of any non-instantaneous effects active at a time, and you can kind of dismiss them, like any effect as an action.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's fantastic. It's cool. It's fun. I love prestidigitation.
It's got a range of 10 feet, which is cool.
Range of 10 feet. Oh, it has a range of 10 feet. It has a range of 10 feet.
So you can take care of someone else that's maybe dirty or.
Plus, I've used it a ton of times because you can do all kinds of cool stuff because you can do 3 at once too.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple.
Just boop, boop.
You can have like a light going, and then the music's go. You can just be like, I'm gonna set the mood, light, music, and a chill breeze. We were playing, and it was the Taste of Blood. You guys did the thing to the horse, and the glowing eyes. You did this. Dragon Icepire Peak. We were playing with Lo and Lee. And
me and the little mini horse, we were like,
I was slaying orcs, and you're like, I make his eyes glow red.
I was so proud of our little mini horse Eric, and Eric he ended up like attacking an orc for me.
Yeah.
And so I made his eyes glow, so that it would make him scarier, and I was like cheering. It was my little girl character that I play. And so she was all excited for Eric, the mini horse, and she hyped him up. And then when she got a hit in, she got hyped up. So they were both sitting there with glowing eyes, like super stoked.
So like I've seen people do things like the shower of sparks. Like I've seen people kind of incorporate these things just to kind of flavor all of their attacks and their stuff.
There's a lot of liberties taken with those spells too.
Yes. So I mean I love it. It's really cool.
I think a spell that goes hand in hand with prestidigitation is I can never say it right.
Thaumaturgy.
How do you say it?
Thaumaturgy.
How do you say it?
Thaumaturgy.
You know what it reminds me of? You know what prestidigitation reminds me of? And thaumaturgy, they remind me of Mickey Mouse.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Why Mickey Mouse?
Mickey Mouse and Fantasia, like.
Oh yeah, that's kind of cool when he's like the little wizard and he's like making things happen with the brooms and the water, and he's like trying to not. And he's like messing up more and more as he's trying. Yeah, I could see like those 2 spells getting a little out of hand if you're an amateur at them and you don't know.
That's what he's doing. He's trying to hold multiple concentrations at once. Like that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of Mickey Mouse. Like I'm gonna clean it up. Prestidigitation.
Whenever you play D&D, go back and watch other movies like Harry Potter. Be like, what spell are they casting? What spell are they casting?
I do. I am stuck doing that now. And now I like add.
We should do that. We should create like a
stats.
short film of something and then just start like watching it together and then talking about like what spells we think they are.
We could do that.
I think that'd be fun.
We could do that. I like Conan.
And then having everybody in stream, like we'll do it at nighttime so everybody in stream can join in too and like
That'd be
and
rad.
like put in their votes and stuff like that.
We'll have to-
We'll do little votes of
We'll
like
have
what
to-
spell we think.
We'll have to
it is.
re-edit whatever movie we're watching so that like the ability or something pops up on the screen. That would be cool.
I like it.
Also, honorable mentions to Druidcraft and Thaumaturgy. They're also like staples. They're very similar to Prestidigitation. You get to do fun stuff. Druidcraft, I love that you can make like flowers kind of sprout.
Yes,
And
I do too. Like if you play like the way I play my stupid Dragonborn, she's just a hot mess. But if I've come close to almost doing Druidcraft a couple times to like try to distract the bad guys. But then everyone's just like looking at me like, we need to kill it now. And I'm like, all right, fine.
I suppose.
I guess I'll hit it with my spear. Jeez.
They're fantastic spells. They're cantrips. I mean, I love them. They're fantastic.
Yeah. They're fun.
Which brings us to my final spell. The longest spell out of all the spells. And the most powerful and the greatest spell ever. This is True Polymorph.
Wait. You have two on here, and everybody knows what true polymorph is. I want to know what creature into creature is.
Two different types of polymorph.
It's all. This
Oh,
is
it's all part of
of
it? Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
All of this is a part of.
Oh, it's all okay. Cool. Let's go
So,
into this then, because
unlike-
I've never heard of
12
this.
paragraphs.
It's like 12
That's what the
paragraphs
eye
long.
roll was from Ben. Okay.
Now there's polymorph, which polymorph you choose a creature and it turns into another creature where its CR is equal to its level or vice versa, blah, blah, blah. CRs and things. True polymorph is a little bit extra. Now, true polymorph allows you to turn creatures into objects, objects into creatures, creatures into like you can be like, oh, here's a phone, boop boop, it's a squirrel. You can, boop boop, you're a lamp.
I love lamp.
I love lamp. And so true polymorph, level 9, ninth level spell. Now, here's how this works. You choose one creature or non-magical object that you can see within range. You transform the creature into a different creature, or the creature into a non-magical object, or the object into a creature. The object must neither be worn nor carried by another creature. So if you're wearing a chest thing, and I'm like, whoop whoop, that's now a squirrel. It doesn't work. Just wearing it.
Okay.
The transformation lasts for the duration. I believe the duration is an hour.
Yeah.
Now, it lasts for the duration or until the target drops to 0 hit points or dies. If you concentrate on this spell for the duration, the spell lasts until it's dispelled. So it's permanent. Now,
It's not an AL though.
it's not an AL?
No, because
Okay.
So, like, if you cast True Polymorph on yourself and you polymorph yourself into a brash dragon, because that's the highest CR that you can get as far as dragons go, I think.
Mhm.
You can't go to the next table with you and your sim both being brash dragons. Like, they don't allow that.
Now, because it gets even crazier. When you turn a creature into a new creature and it becomes permanent, like, all of their stuff starts getting weird. Like, all of their scores are changed, and they actually end up, I don't remember what it was, but they, like, if I turn you into a squirrel, if I concentrate it for an hour, at the end of it, you are now a squirrel. Like, you kind of lose yourself in the transformation,
Yes.
and you become 100% squirrel.
I only know about this because of Clacker.
Of Clacker.
If you read the stories of Driss, the I believe it's not Sojourn, it's
Exile.
was it Exile that it happened? In Exile, one of the what was it? It was a rock gnome, right?
Mm-hmm.
A rock gnome gets turned by a very powerful wizard, polymorph, into what is the monster called? It's like the
Hook horror.
a hook horror. And
Okay, yeah.
and he becomes a hook horror, and he's super sad about it, and like it's a really sad story. But they try to find the wizard, and Driss tries to help him because Driss can see that this hook horror isn't like all the other hook horrors he's fought before. So they end up being able to communicate with him, and they call him Clacker for short. It's really cute, and they try to find the wizard, and the wizard's kind of an asshole. they learn and find out. He just doesn't want to listen. Well, I mean, what do you do when you have the thing that you turn into a hook horse show up at your doorstep and a drow? You're like, what the fuck is this? So I can
turn you into a monster and you show up with a drow.
Yeah, exactly. And the drow's like, no, man, I'm trying to help him, and I don't want to just help him. But yeah, that's the only reason why I know about that side of the story, because it was him, like, the whole brain. And I think that's really cool. Ari Salvatore puts that into perspective, and if you read it and then you go to play it, it's even kind of like, ooh, because you have to think about what's going on with you mentally, where you start to go into this like animalistic kind of creature where your brain is now leaving this consciousness of whatever, not human, but you know, like he was a gnome that now got turned into this thing that wants to kill things, you know, just because it kills things, you know. I thought that's cool. And so when you go to play that at the table, I can only imagine if you have a good DM how that would play out.
So I love. Oh, here's a good question. If you could true polymorph something, what would you true polymorph, and what would you polymorph it into?
Josh into Brad Pitt.
Now here's the follow-up question: would you concentrate it on it? Would you concentrate on that for an hour to make it permanent, or would you make it
59 minutes and 59 seconds.
I would have to test it out for the first 30 minutes and see how it went.
And see how it went.
Maybe I want Josh back. Maybe Brad Pitt's not all I thought it was gonna be, you know.
It's like, whoa.
Maybe we'll go with Joe Manganiello instead.
Oh, okay.
He might be cooler than Brad Pitt. At least he plays D&D.
That's fair. What about you, Josh? If you could polymorph something, what would you polymorph it into?
Who would it turn into?
I probably wouldn't polymorph you.
Oh, now I feel bad.
I'd probably I'd polymorph like some inanimate object. I can't think of what I'd want to do right now, but I'd be really curious to see like what an inanimate object would have to say for itself if you polymorphed it.
You just kind of turned it into a thing.
Yeah, like if I turned my phone into a person, like what would it have to say to me? Like
all sorts of things.
Yeah.
I know your history.
It's Siri.
Siri.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Like I would transform, like I don't know, like I would transform my car.
Bro, I would.
Into an old man. He'd be like, "Oh, you've taken such shitty care of me."
If I were you, a living plant monster out in that on the other side of the mountains for it.
There you go. You transform a gigantic cannabis plant and be like, "What do you got to say, dude? I'm just curious, man. Like, how are you feeling?"
Make it into a plant creature that walks around and plants itself everywhere. Just,
Right? Be like, polymorph, but don't worry, dude. I'll just polymorph like 12 plants into 12 workers, dude.
So
I'll take care of everything.
I have a question now. If you did something like that, now I'm thinking about what I would want to polymorph. What if I found like a really fucked up car that was no good and I polymorphed it into a horse? Would it turn into a bad horse or would it turn into a nice healthy horse?
I don't know.
Has to be equal to its CR.
Yeah.
So if the car's CR rating is an 8,
okay, there we go.
It's going to be a rickety ass horse.
There we go.
Some draft mule.
I put Lee on the task of finding out who it was that summoned the Baylor.
He's also going crazy to find out what it was that Clacker was before he turned into a hookworm.
And I believe Clacker was a
Darrow. He was a rock something. What was it? What are the creatures that talk to the rocks? Like they actually like will communicate by vibrating, like sending vibrations through rocks and stuff like that.
Speak to the rocks.
I can't. Yeah, they do. They look like little rock people.
I think he's a Darrow.
Is that what they're called?
Pretty sure.
The dwarf, or is it a rock gnome?
I thought it was a rock gnome, but Lee's saying it's not a rock gnome. I thought it was a rock dwarf or something.
According to Wiki, it was Peck.
A peck. P-E-C-H.
What are pecks?
Peck is a member of a species that has a special bond with the earth.
There you go. And it was sad because in the story he talks about missing talking to the rocks and stuff like that. And that's why you always caught him like...
They look like gnomes.
Would he clack with the rocks?
Yes, and he would break rocks because it was like
That's cool.
They look like
really
gnomes,
sad.
it says, with dark gray or dull gray skin, pupilless eyes that reflect light like an owl
Yes.
or a cat, and thin, gangly arms ending in abnormally large and powerful hands.
There you go.
They could
A
have
peck.
wiry hair or a thick
P-E-C-H.
mane, the color of wet clay.
Neat.
It's a very touching little storyline that doesn't last very long, but it's really cute.
Well,
It's sad, but it's
following all of this fun stuff, we have reached the end of the show.
cute. Yeah.
We have reached the time where we do our confessions. This is my confession. Sorry, that's a weird thing I'm doing. That's a very weird thing I'm doing. Anywho,
That's what we're here for.
thank you. Sydney, what do you have to confess?
I don't know. I always get stumped on my confession, and then after we cut Cam, I'm like, oh, I gotta confess that.
I got one. I'll kick it off.
Kick it off, Mike.
We recently went to a charity event ran
did.
by Danny Morales at Zulu's Board Game Cafe. I brought a very special someone with me.
You did.
I did. I brought the angel of my life,
Aww.
my sweetheart, my baby girl. But
Caffeine, the ukulele?
No, Sylvie. Also,
I'm kidding.
I
You
brought
did
the
bring
ukulele.
caffeine, but that's not what we're talking about.
No, I brought my daughter, and my confession is that I was very scared about bringing a 6-month-old baby to a
6-month-old.
6-month-old, 6 months, 6 months old,
6-month-old.
There we go. Thank you. And good night. 6-month-old, 6 month.
Yeah, 6-month-old.
6MO.
So anyways, I was very nervous about bringing her, and thankfully I had the help of 2 wonderful people who aren't here today. No,
I was waiting for that.
I have big thanks to Josh and Cindy for helping me take care of my child while we were at a charity game, and I got some photos of her passing out on Josh. And Cindy was with me the entire car ride and did nothing but babble in the back seat the whole time.
Josh used to get irritated with me because when like Zeke would go to sleep, I'd continue the babble because I couldn't help it. I'd do it all freaking day. You know what I mean? That he's just like, seriously, you could stop. Like one of my things was I used to do this to make Zeke laugh. I used to do weird noise like that. It would be like I wouldn't have chapstick on. I have like lip gloss on, so I can't do it. It would be like this high pitched noise. And I would be sitting by myself, Zeke's asleep, or not by myself, but in the bed with Josh, and we're on our phones or iPads or whatever, and I kept making the noise, and he's like, seriously, you gotta freaking stop, you're driving me crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I feel it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, it's just a habit. And then talking like a baby. It's...
That's fair.
But...
so that's my blip.
You gotta get a mirror. Did you go look for that mirror yet?
No. Not yet. I'm not.
I thought your confession was going to be that you forgot a jacket, dude.
I thought your confession was going to be that you're
getting there.
You have a dumb face.
Do you want to go next or?
Go for it. I'll go last.
My confession
I'll go last.
Is that I was really stressed out that whatever changes they were going to make in season 9 were going to be even worse. And then I was going to have to hear about it for another year with no inability of my own to do anything about it. But as like the owner of Cleric Games and the head organizer or whatever, like everybody figured that I must want to hear about their season 8 gripes and their problems and things. And
yeah,
I'm so glad that I'm not. I mean, there'll still be some gripes, but I am so happy with how it's all rolled out, and haven't been this excited for a long time. Like I was a little excited for Waterdeep, but like I've been in Waterdeep like my whole life playing Dungeons and Dragons, so it wasn't exciting to me. Like this is super exciting to me. Like the storyline's cool. I'm excited for the hardcover. We're gonna be playing the hardcover on Tuesday nights with Danny. But I'm just really happy that I feel like everything's worked out. I don't think it could have got any more fair and balanced for everybody, and then also simplified. With the new players that we've generated this last year, with all of the things going on, I'm really excited to see the amount of people that we can get come into these conventions and see them playing Dungeons and Dragons this next year. I think a lot of people are gonna hook right onto this. I'm really excited for ECC because the whole Baldur's Gate branding and terminology will play really well there. People will recognize it instantaneously and be excited to play something in real life that they remember from some of their favorite video games. So that's my confession. I saw that stuff this morning and I was just like, oh, this is great.
Oh no.
Oh, this is gonna make everything so much easier. Yeah. So Cindy, confessions?
My confession is for how excited I am that I'm going to be DMing this season. I'm really, really nervous, and I'm having to really self-battle from being a defeatist on this.
A defeatist?
Defeatist, right? Yeah.
You're right. Defeatist.
But I'm really nervous about it because I don't. It's to me, I know I've said it before, but it's like giving someone a haircut. I know it can be changed and fixed and things will move on if I mess up, but it's still the fact that people are gonna walk away upset at first if I do something wrong. You know what I mean? That to me is.
Side note, Audrey was DMing.
She was.
An epic, nonetheless.
Yeah.
I saw her. She was there, and she was in her cute little onesie PJ thing to keep warm. And then all of a sudden, I walk out again with Mushi to take him out for a quick little walk, and she was behind the DM screen. I was like, oh.
I heard she did a great job, too.
I bet she did.
Said?
What happened?
Did you just see what Joe said?
Yeah, about Mikey. I was waiting to get to that.
Oh, what?
Joe wrote, one day Michael's going to confess something horrible, but so nonchalantly that we don't notice.
No, the next part.
Oh, no, I didn't catch it.
Too, like Quentin Tarantino.
That's a different kind of
I'm innocent.
Mikey, you're never allowed to look at my feet. Because of Quentin Tarantino, he's a foot fetish.
Okay, it's fine.
It's
fine. Everything's fine.
How long did it take for him to get there?
I didn't get there till you explained it.
Really?
No.
Oh my God.
You're a big Quentin Tarantino fan.
You guys are
bigger than me and Mikey.
You guys are all fucking fired. No, apparently Joe knows about it too. What is wrong with you guys? That's a simple fact. That's a simple fact. Everybody that knows Quentin Tarantino has a huge foot fetish. That's why in every movie, when you watch the beginning of the movie, there's always a foot that gets seen. And that's why Uma Thurman's one of his favorites because he loves her feet. That's why on what's it called? She's dancing barefoot. Remember?
Yes, that's a good point. I didn't know that's why though.
And
you
then
learn
on Kill
something new
Bill,
every day. What do you know? Cleric talk, movie facts, D&D facts, life facts. Don't forget to pack a bib, socks, a jacket.
Oh,
pants.
that's right. Salma Hayek can pour alcohol into my mouth from her foot.
That's
Anyway,
right.
there you go.
I didn't
See?
bring any socks for her. No pants.
He just grabbed her like a football, grabbed that diaper bag, and just went with God. Went out the door.
Oh, this guy, yeah.
I found the bottle.
It happens, dude. Cindy and I used to get places and be like, "Oh, what do we got?"
What you gotta do is at night when she's asleep, you gotta get stoned and then just pull out her diaper bag and make it like a fun thing.
Think like it's an adventure
yeah,
kit.
You're literally putting her adventuring kit together so that when you need to walk out the door, you literally just swing it.
It
over
was
your
less
shoulder
than that. It was simply
I
no. I had babysitting.
Now I know what I'm getting him for Father's Day.
Oh, and then at the last minute,
I was on the road.
So why do you not have a bag prepared for your babysitter?
Because he knows mom's got all the stuff.
Because she didn't need to leave the house for another 3.5 hours. That's why the bag wasn't ready.
But you should always have an emergency diaper bag ready to go.
Get him.
Always. There should be 2 diaper bags. Your everyday one.
Vicious mockery, vicious mockery, vicious mockery.
And that creates a V for vicious mockery.
I do have an emergency diaper bag. That's the one that I grabbed.
And that is
That's
a poorly
why.
put together. So if there's an earthquake or a
That's
fire.
why we were only an hour and a
So
half
what are
late.
you gonna do when there's a fire or something
Grab the
happens?
baby!
And what about how's the baby gonna survive if you have no food and no bottles
I live in the heart of Tacoma. What do you mean there's no food or no? I'm gonna grab the baby out of the fire and then walk away. And then if I need something, I'll go to.
If the aliens are invading, dude, we got bigger problems on our hands.
What about the volcano? What about our volcano? What if our volcano?
Then we're literally all dead.
No, there's ways of getting in the car,
If
and you're able to.
If the volcano goes off,
See you
and
guys
we're not
later.
gonna die. I've got Katie to feed
What about
her.
earthquakes?
She can shit in my arms. It's fine.
Oh my god, you couldn't handle her in an epic game without a bottle. How are you gonna handle her in an emergency?
I handle her in an epic game without a bottle.
You
He did.
were losing your shit.
Yeah, because she didn't want to eat.
Emergency
Are
bag.
we off yet?
Emergency bag. That's all.
Oh
You
wait.
guys gonna say bye?
Oh,
Yes.
I thought we.
See,
Bye.
everybody, get your shit together.
No, listen, Cindy, you don't understand. I can't handle
See you guys later.
Hustling on a big banana. 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 Hustling on a big
I
banana.
missed the clip of grab the